was presenting my book at my first lunch party. Then my old best friend showed up and started telling everyone she co-wrote it with me. I've had a credit thief for a best friend since sophomore year of high school, Ingrid. If I wrote a short story for English class, she'd tell everyone she gave me the plot idea. If I won a writing contest, she'd mention she'd helped me edit it. If I got into an advanced creative writing course, she claimed she'd encourage me to apply when I was too scared. The signs were there by junior year, almost predictably, when I won a regional writing competition. Ingrid told everyone at lunch that she'd spent hours helping me brainstorm, and that she basically co-wrote the piece. You literally just read the final draft, I said. Moral support is collaboration, she replied with a straight face. I didn't argue since I just wanted to celebrate, but by the time we graduated college, it got calculating. I spent 6 months on a novel manuscript for my senior thesis. Ingrid barely passed her classes while I pulled all-nighters writing. At the thesis presentation, she told my professors, other students, even the visiting literary agents that she'd been my writing partner and developmental editor throughout college. Since when? I asked, exhausted. I've been writing this alone every night for half a year. Ingrid's eyes got wide. I gave you emotional support during your breakdowns. That's just as important as the physical work. Why are you erasing my contributions? Everyone, do you see how she treats people who help her? She posted on Instagram about how writers forget their support systems. After that disaster, my mom called me. You need to be more grateful for Ingrid's friendship. She's been there for you through everything. This ego you've developed since getting some recognition is pushing people away. Maybe if you acknowledged her help more, she wouldn't need to remind people. I had never had an ego. A year later, I finally got my first book deal. A small independent publisher, but legitimate. I'd been working on the novel for 18 months, pouring everything into it. The publisher loved my manuscript. Launch party was in 2 weeks. But 3 days before the launch, Ingrid texted me, so excited for our book. Can't wait to see our collaboration published. I'm inviting everyone I know. The message included a social media post she'd made with both our names listed as co-authors. I called her immediately. Ingrid, this is my book. You didn't write any of this, but I inspired so much of it. Remember when we got coffee and talked about your writer's block? That conversation shaped your whole novel. That was one conversation about my writer's block that I worked through myself. Writing is collaborative. You wouldn't have this book without my support and input. I'm coming to the launch and I'm going to make sure people know the full story. The launch night came and I stood in the bookstore surrounded by copies of my book, pages I'd bled over. Ingrid arrived in an outfit that matched the book cover colors, carrying a notebook she kept waving around. Oh, this novel came from our brainstorming sessions, she told guests. See this character? I suggested she explore that personality type. She approached a couple holding my book. I'm her writing partner. This plot twist came from a conversation we had about betrayal. I basically gave her the entire storyline. During my reading, I explained my process and inspiration. Ingrid kept interjecting from the audience, and I was there for that. That's when we had that deep discussion. I helped her work through those plot holes. People started looking uncomfortable. I tried to continue, but she wouldn't stop. That's when the stranger intervened. An older woman with sharp eyes stood up from the back. Excuse me, I'm Agent Dowling from Sterling Literary Agency. I need to correct something. Everyone went silent. She walked forward with authority. I've been following this author's work for 3 years, since she was my client. I have every draft, every revision note, every query letter documented. I negotiated her book deal. I know her process intimately. She turned to Ingrid, and I have never seen you. Not once. Not in our meetings, not in editorial discussions, not at pitch sessions. Ingrid's face went red. I was there emotionally, spiritually influencing. No, Agent Dowling cut her off. I've represented actual co-authors. This isn't it. This book is entirely hers. The prose, the structure, the vision. Stop lying. She turned back to the crowd. This author spent 18 months alone writing this novel. I watched her succeed entirely on her own merit. The bookstore erupted. Ingrid got quiet, then red in the face. She walked as far away from everyone where her cheeks glowed like embarrassed red LED lights. The bookstore sold 60 copies that night. Ingrid left after an hour. The next week, Ingrid called me screaming because everyone she talked to mentioned that talented solo author who did everything herself despite people trying to take credit. I just laughed and hung up.